Testing 1, 2, 3. Is my encoding overloaded still? Let's see how we're doing. There we go then. Alright. Well, I guess I wait for someone to show up. Looks good to me. Let me see. There we go. That would just look something. It's a plot, kind of a plot-full game. Alright. I guess That's weird. So I've set up things a bit differently than last time. Can you let me know if the audio is okay? My voice sounds okay compared to the game?
Yes, what's on your mind? Terrace? The planet's all one big city, but its golden years are long past. And things have gotten
I got
worse
really
since
good
the Sith occupied it.
headphones,
From what I hear,
so
the
it's
wealthy
super
live on
loud
the
in
tops
my
of all the
ears
tall towers,
sometimes,
and if you're poor, you live down in
and
the shadows.
I'm not
And it
sure.
gets worse the lower you go. Well, that's all I can think of, at any rate.
Yeah. I know my
Yeah.
fan's probably going to be a little loud in my microphone, but as long as you can hear me over the game, that should be good. Alright, cool. That's good to know. I guess we'll continue on then. Do you remember however many months ago what's
You
been
there,
going on in this game?
Upworlder. Anyone using this elevator has to pay the toll.
Yeah, this is our elevator. If you use it, you gotta give us something.
I don't believe this planet. Even the beggars are trying to shake us down.
5 credits. That's what it costs to use our elevator. 5 credits. We are the outcasts, banished and reviled by those who dwell above.
Here in the filthy
Yeah, so this is like
claw out a wretched
the Old
existence,
Republic,
scavenging, begging
going by the
just to
title.
survive long enough to see
We
another
were on a
day.
ship, a Republic
This
ship,
is
because we're like a
our
soldier for the
village.
Republic,
We live here in
and the Sith attacked
You have to pay
because
us 5 credits.
I don't know
for
how
using
much they've
our
talked
elevator.
about it. I don't remember exactly because it's been however many months. But the Mandalorians were attacking the Republic, and the Jedi, being the Jedi, didn't want to help. So they, so a couple of Jedi who thought they should be helping went off to go fight the Mandalorians, and then they come back and they're like tainted by the dark side or whatever. And so then they go off into the outside of known space and come back as Sith, and now the Republic is fighting those Jedi. Or at least those Sith, the one that's remaining. So ship went down. We're on this terrace which is on a planet that's blockaded by the Sith. We're on the search for a specific Jedi named Bastila, who's super important to the war effort because she has this ability called battle meditation, which is basically like bardic inspiration plus it's basically casting bless and bane at the same time, but on like an entire battlefield. And so we've had to go through a bunch of different stuff to get to the Undercity where her escape pod was supposed to have crashed. So yeah, that's where we're at pretty much now. We made peace with the nicer of the two local gangs in order to get down here. So let's, because the opposite of the more harsh of the new gangs is supposedly has her captured. Alright, so
Credits, my brother. We have credits.
remember we're
Now
the
we
nice
buy
guy,
food
TM.
and medicine.
Hush! The others will hear us. They'll want our credits. We have to hide them.
Go on, you two. Get out of here. Sorry about that. Those 2 beggars give everyone in the village a bad name. We aren't all like that, you know. Most of us are good people.
I'm sure you are, miss. It's just too bad your little welcoming committee is here to give people a bad first impression.
God, I wish I was better at names.
You're from the Upworld, aren't you?
Like, Jack Star sounds like the most generic Star Wars game name ever. Alright.
Not to you, I suppose, but you're probably used to its beauty by now. I've never been to the surface, but sometimes I think I can see it in my dreams.
I guess
The
Han
sun,
Solo
sky,
kind of gets a
stars,
pass because
all
he's
sights.
like, well,
So
if it
wonderful.
didn't get
And
retconned
now,
into
leader of
being
our
kind
village
of a
just
stupid
wishes he spent
origin,
more time
it
trying to save things
sounds,
down here and less time dreaming about something
it's
that will never happen.
coming from the first movie, it sounds okay.
Probably think I'm a fool, having dreams of a place I've never even seen. But when I was little, Rukio used to tell me stories
Gosh.
of what it was like up there. Rukio is the oldest man in the village. The kids call him Rukio Wrinkleskin, but he's a kind man. He used to tell me the greatest stories when I was a little girl. I still like to listen to his tales about the
Yeah.
Promised Land, even though I know they're just legends, but it helps to make the Undercity seem less dark somehow. It's just a story to make little children smile. Rukio believes in it, though. Sometimes I can
Gosh,
almost
I'm
believe
wondering
it myself, but then I look
if I need to
around
do
and see
all
that
the side
it's
quests or not.
just
Because there's
not
this
the
one,
peaceful
which
town.
involves
If you really want
searching
to learn more about the
for
Promised
these
Land, you should
journals to
speak
bring
Rukio.
back and like help these people to their promised land or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, if you
it's
ever
just a
need
lot of
anything,
effort.
or if you just feel like talking, come back
But
and
the
see me.
way I'm
I
playing,
hardly
if
ever
you
get a chance to
remember
speak to someone from
from the
another world.
first one, I'm holding off on leveling up because like D&D, there's a level cap. So if I take less levels of this, which class am I? Less soldier levels, I get to take more Jedi levels later, which makes these quests particularly hard. But the experience, I guess I don't. I'm never really you get to the level cap by the end of the game anyway. I guess I really don't need to do it. I'll just start heading out.
Hey, you ain't from the village. You're from the upworld, ain't you? Yes. You've got credits, I bet.
Watch yourself. There's something slimy about this guy. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him.
My name's Saigir. I run a little salvage shop here. You want to buy something from my store? I got some good deals.
Yeah, but it's a lot more basic. Basically, only your character gets to multi-class, and you only get to go from your basic class to one of the 3 Jedi classes. It's a lot more interesting in the second game.
It ain't the best.
Let's see if there's anything worth it. In the second game, you start off in the Jedi class, and then you can prestige into one of the better 3 Jedi classes, and then a lot of your allies go from their basic class into one of the basic Jedi classes. So I wish you could be cool and like the party members got prestige classes that are more in tune with their original classes if you wanted to go that route instead of everyone just being a Jedi in the second one, or everyone just being the one class in this one. But something to hope for in KotOR 3 if it ever happens. Yeah, I'm too poor to really buy anything good. I figure I'd just look at it.
Hurry, Hindar! Hurry! I can hear it coming!
He'll never make it. He's doomed. I told him he was a fool to leave the village.
He will make it.
So yeah,
Run, Hindar,
on
run!
top.
Open the gate! Quickly! There isn't much time!
Yeah, a little bit.
I can't. The Rakghouls are too close.
So on top of this planet being under blockade from the Sith, they also have
You can't do it.
basically a
Is it
zombie
fair?
plague.
Please,
Make him open the gate. Hindor will die if he doesn't.
I can't open the gate. Not while the rat ghouls are so near.
They call them rat ghouls, and if you get bitten or hurt too much, you supposedly catch the disease, and then you'll eventually turn into one and want to go after other people.
You
But
just
luckily,
walked so
we
straight.
have main character immunity,
I'll open the
so
gate
the
for
worst
you,
we'll
but you
ever
gotta
get
be
is
quick.
poisoned by
In a few
them.
seconds, I must close and lock it again.
So we'll go out and be the nice guys and help out this guy. What are you doing?
What?
Oh, he died. Well, we still got the experience points for trying. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
No!
Yeah. Alright. Let's see. If I take a couple more steps forward.
Please, you have to help me.
Here's party member
Nobody
number
else is
2.
gonna help me, even the Becks won't.
14-year-old
But I
girl,
can't
Mission
just leave him there.
Vale.
He's my... Gadden? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Please, Zalbar's in trouble. He needs our help or they're gonna sell him into slavery.
Here. Oh, weird. Let me When I pull it up on my phone, it looks okay. Would you check... Would you try maybe reloading and see if that might fix it? Because according to all my things, it's looking okay. Alright, cool. It's like... Everything that I can tell on my end says it's going okay. I had to cut it down from 60 FPS to 30 FPS, but to get it to run in the first place. But luckily, after I finally figured out this frickin' thing, it's finally working okay on my end at least. Alright.
Me and Zalbar, we were just wandering around here in the Undercity. You know, looking
Speaking
for stuff we
of
could find.
Han
Kind
Solo,
of exploring.
having a
We do it
Wookiee
all the time.
sidekick seems to
Look on
be
your side, you gotta figure you can handle
required
that rat ghoul attack.
for
Only this
scoundrels.
time, they were waiting for us. Gamorrean slave hunters. We didn't even have a chance to run. Big Z threw himself at him and then roared for me to run. I took off. I figured Zalbar would be right behind me. But there were too
He's-
many of them. He couldn't get away. They're going to sell him to a slaver. I just know it.
Alright.
I don't know for sure, but those Gamorreans like to hang out in the sewers. The stink reminds them of home, I guess. That's probably where they took Big Z. It's a deal. As soon as we
Alright,
get Big
we'll
Z back,
recruit
I'll
the
show
rogue
you the way into
and
that Vulcar base. Now
have
come on.
her...
We have to find Zalbar before
Do you know where he's being kept?
the Gamorreans make their camps in the sewers. I bet that's where we'll find Zalbar. And that's where I'll show you the secret entrance into the Vulcar compound.
Alright. So XP and second number. Scoundrel is their word for rogue,
What?
so we'll give her some level up. Let's see. Yeah, her skills are gonna be good anyway because of her class. So we'll just up her dex to bump everything up. Let's give her the recommended. Yeah. And luckily, no, charisma, well, it's more, uh, wisdom powers your alignment's powers, and then charisma will help you use the powers from the other side of the force. So if you were dark side and you wanted to cast like force heal, then a higher charisma would help you there. So yeah.
What?
Now we have 2 meat shields to help our main character not die while he's low leveled.
You there, civilian. This is a restricted area. What are you doing down here?
Love these old games where you have to watch him walk all the way over before you can talk to him. So I'm playing a light side guy, and these guys have the cure on them.
Questioning the Sith.
The supposed cure for the Raccoon disease.
Earn some respect.
And so we're gonna off these guys, and oh, I forgot to, let's see, before combat starts, we're gonna put stuff on her. Let's see what she has. She has dueling, so she'll be better with the one weapon. Alright, yeah, she'll just stay with the one pistol then. Right. Alright. So yeah.
Ready?
So yeah, you can tell if you look close, they've got energy shields, so we gotta wear those down before we can, our blasters will work on them.
You asked for this!
Riveting gameplay, I know, but I'm going to use the med pack. There we go. And yeah, see, there's their Sith energy shield. Oh yeah, it definitely grows, especially when you get force powers and everything. It'll be a lot better. So something that I didn't learn until I was setting up the game for this, you can return to your hideout and heal for free. I used to think the only way to heal was to wait an obnoxiously long time for the health regen to happen, spam force heal or healing items, or level up. But if you go back to your hideout, it's basically like you're doing a long rest, and then you can transition back, and it'll drop you right back where you were. And I've played through this game maybe half a dozen times, and I've never known about that. Alright. It's insane what this game doesn't tell you. It's definitely got issues. Alright. Cool. It's very... That's... When I've played D&D, I imagine this game a lot of times, and it's not often... Like the, against the guards at the warehouse, when we alerted one of them, they were able to contact all of them. In this game, you just pick off groups of them one at a time. It'll be especially apparent, or it would be especially apparent later in some of them. Oh, here's the soldier I was talking about, I think, actually. Yep, the Ragul serum. Alright. So, last time we talked to a doctor on the surface who said we could give him the Ragul serum, and then his assistant or whatever said we could sell him the serum. And it's another one of those light side, dark side choices. In the meantime, I'll just clear out this surface area. Luckily, we caught him around the weird corner, and we can fight them all off one at a time. Right. Unfortunately, in a video gamey kind of sense, or at least in this older one, they didn't really have a reason to raise the alarm. But I guess they would do that in Metal Gear Solid, right? They would get the exclamation point and they'd call all the other guards. So, I guess that's basically not the point of this game. You have stealth mechanics. Like, if you wanted to sneak around, you can. But there's not really a lot of... What's the word? Reward for doing so. Because if you don't fight them, you don't get the experience for killing them. So, there's no reason to sneak around. I guess... You can sneak. There's a sneak attack mechanic for the scoundrels, where if you attack out of stealth, they get a slight bonus. But I've never used it. Let me see. Yeah, the sneak attack. It adds damage when they can't respond, or the first attack out of stealth mode. So, it's nice, but it basically adds a d6, yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Metal Gear Solid, to be honest. Alright. So yeah. They have a skill specifically for mines called Demolitions. Oh, actually, that reminds me, we got a new... Yeah. Yeah, the scoundrels are definitely rogues. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might try it out someday. Alright. Now, I don't remember if... Oh, here. Let me go back to all items. Here are the rectangles in. Yeah. It would be nice, huh? Yeah, I finally got my capture card too, so I can stream from consoles too. Although the only one that's really feasible in my current setup is my Switch, because I can unplug that and bring it over. But there's not really any room to bring anything.
What?
What?
Not a big console like
Sure.
a PS3 or uh, the N64. Did they ever chill out about Persona 5, the initial Persona 5? I remember when it first came out, like there was a certain month they couldn't stream it to. Let me save real quick because I don't remember if... Because you can give anyone infected by the serum
Please.
the Ragdoll's cure.
Feel it inside my skin. Something growing. Like some kind of hideous disease.
Huh, fair enough. Here. So yeah, you can give it to the serum. Because, like, the guy on the surface was researching it, and then the Sith took it and perfected it themselves. So they could give it to their soldiers so they could go and go around in the underground.
Thank you. Those things, they attacked as soon as we came out the doors. They killed the others. It was horrible. Bastila? She wasn't in this pod. We were tracking her pod just before we hit the planet's surface. It went down somewhere to the west. We lost the signal when our own pod crashed. Maybe. Wait. What was that? Did you hear that? I thought I heard something. Over there. I heard something. I know I did. There it is again. It's those monsters. They're coming back. Run for your lives.
See, after playing real D&D and stuff with more believable NPCs, it's funny how what's the word? Sorry if you heard my ice machine in the background. Not anthropomorphized. What's the word? Caricatured. Yeah. Alright, and so now a bunch of them showed up again. But even though the guy died, we still got light side points. Alright. Jeez. Everyone's health is so much lower than I remember. Like, I knew my health is gonna be low because I'm only level 2 compared to everyone else. But she went down just as fast as I did. She only has like 4 more health than me, and she's got 2 levels on me. Then again, I don't know, I still have the same, or I guess I put the tough feat in. If I remember right. Yeah, toughness. Yeah. Gosh, I'm sorry to make you sit through a loading screen again, but I'm just gonna heal again. Luckily, the loading screens aren't as bad as they can be on console. When I first played this game, I played it on the Xbox. Or actually, I actually played KotOR 2 first, and played it on the Xbox, and the load screens took forever. It was just insane. I think KotOR 2 is definitely the better game, but I've played this one more because it came out on the iPad, and so is easily replayable. Alright. And so if you remember this guy, this is a Mandalorian mercenary who was on not the Undercity, but the lower city, where we talked to all the gangs. He works for the real local crime lord of the big gang known as the Exchange, which is like, there's local gangs and then, but these guys are like the galaxy-wide mafia.
Let me give you some advice. Forget about it. Do yourself a favor and just head back. This isn't a good place to stand around chatting. The Undercity is crawling with rat ghouls. I've already lost a half a dozen men to those monsters.
Candace, I heard something. Over there, in the shadows. Sounded like a rat ghoul.
Looks like we've got company. Get those blasters ready, boys.
Luckily for this fight, we've got those NPCs we don't care about to stay in our way. And Candace, who I'm pretty sure isn't able to die. Alright.
Damn. I told Davik this salvage mission was a bad idea. His men aren't trained for this kind of thing, and I can't babysit them all. Okay, boys. We're getting out of here before I lose anyone else. I can't carry all this salvage back by myself. You'd be smart to get out of here as well.
Alright, that's fine.
Even if you can handle the rat ghouls, I doubt there's anything
Honestly,
worth
just
finding.
having you here to give me someone to talk to is all the help that in the world. Give me topics to bounce off of. That's why I'm doing this rather than Let's Plays at first, while I build up this skill to just talk. Alright.
Davik sent me down here with this motley crew to scavenge whatever we could from the Republic escape pods that crashed during the recent battle overhead. But the lower city gangs got here first. Anything worthwhile in those Republic pods is probably in their hands by now. Davik won't like that. What are you, an off-worlder? Everyone knows Davik. He's a member of the Exchange. You know, the interstellar crime syndicate. Smuggling, gambling, extortion. Davik controls it all here on Taris. That's why I'm working for him. But lately, the lower city gangs have been giving my
fair
boss
enough.
some trouble.
Yeah, my girlfriend would be here too, but she's working during the days now. And I can't really stream at night because I moved my setup out into the common area. So...
This isn't really the best place to have these kinds of conversations. But I guess I could spare a couple of seconds for you. After
yeah,
all, you
so
did help
once
us out with
people
those
start
rat
coming
ghouls.
home,
The lower city is overrun
I'll
with
have to
gangs,
shut
but
everything
the two
down.
most important ones are the hidden Becks and the Black Vulkars. Used to be the Becks were the big dog and kept the others in line. But lately the Black Vulkars are moving in on Beck turf and challenging them for control. The Vulkars are even starting to defy Davik. Take these escape pods, for example. Everyone knew Davik would want first crack at them. But I know for a fact those damn Vulkars have already sent their own salvage party down here.
Yeah. Alright.
Come on, boys, let's move out.
He actually has different dialogue if he doesn't have any of his mercenaries surviving. He'll just leave. He won't say, like, let's go, boys. Yeah, that's fair.
Time to rumble.
Luckily, it's easy to ignore when these guys die. I don't have to. None of them will ever drop loot, so it's easy to just walk past them. Luckily, they're going down a lot easier than in some past playthroughs. Yeah, I've been playing Outer Worlds. Which is a similar game to like Fallout and Skyrim. And like Fallout, the weapons have durability, and they have an option that just from the loot menu, you can hold down a button and it'll break down the weapon into its base parts, which you use to repair the weapons that you have. So if you find something you know is worse, you don't have to take the whole item and then break it down later. You just transform it into items. It's into the weapon part or armor part itself. It's real handy. I'd probably be streaming that if I wasn't halfway through the game. Honestly, it's hard for me to start new things if I haven't finished old ones. So I'm not going to be able to stream anything else until I finish this. And then on that same topic of looting things, in the sequel, once you've looted something, it'll say empty next to its name. And so you don't check something a million times thinking it has something in it.
What?
Alright. Let's level up mission. Especially if you get lost in an area. Yeah. So these three, or I guess technically these six-ish feats are similar to like the sharpshooter and great weapon master feat in D&D. Like power blast is kind of like great weapon master, where you get bonus to damage but minus to hit. And then as you level it up, it gets stronger. And then other ones, you'll get the extra benefit, but it'll lower your defense, which it basically lowers your AC. That's basically the all out or the full round attack from Starfinder we were looking about. But this one, the rapid shot, I've seen the math on it. The rapid shot does the most damage, even more than the power blast, because it's just extra attacks. And then sniper will do the crit range, and then it also will stun them if they don't make the save. It's I never really used this one because I'll be honest, the it's a big defense drop for not a lot of return. It's supposed to be like for the scoundrels to use to have a reliable way to get a target stunned so they can proc their sneak attack. But it's even for I've never had any trouble with just giving them rapid shot and just having them attack more. But she's not really here. Let's give her that, because right now what she needs more is HP between me and the bad guys. Alright.
Huh?
Yeah, it's basically the reason Fighter is so good in it's basically like the True Strike cantrip versus attacking twice. Alright. Yeah. Let's go over here now. Alright. See, I had already checked that rubble, and there was stuff in there. So now we go into the sewers to try and find this Wookiee.
Yeah?
A lot of times, especially in the second game where your character's more main character-y, I'll put demolition on the main character rather than a party member, just because it's more convenient to be able to, from not having to switch control to a different character just to pick up the million mines there are in this game. Yep, and that was the poison taken out the main character here.
Ready.
Once we get a Jedi in our party, we won't have to do this every time. There we go.
Yeah?
So you can both disable and recover mines, and they both have different DCs.
Sure.
Obviously, recovering the mine will have a higher DC. Do we ever go back? No. I guess not. Oof. Jeez. Oops. See, this'll happen sometimes. Ugh. The Gamorreans hit hard. Unfortunately, with people down, I can't go back and heal, but I can use this. Let's see if
Take that! You'll pay!
oh yeah. I'd rather not use a bunch of med packs if I can avoid it, but might not be much of a choice. Oh, you know what? I've got an idea.
No one's gonna see this mission.
The one when I'm as soon as I talk about not using stealth, I come up with a use for it. There's this robot over here. In the tutorial, they gave you a tutorial. You can use your repair skill and spare parts to repair robots. So if and then you can give them different buffs by spending more, and then make a move. So if I guess this is the stuff to use it for. I wish I had increased her repair some, so I didn't have to spend a million parts, but let's alright, and now the droid will fight with us. If you use the items from the menu, they don't take up an action, which I don't think was intended, but they left it in for the sequel, so there we go. Yeah, it's really unique to this game. It's like the closest thing to like having different plans in D&D that I've seen in a video game. There we go. Jesus.
Ready?
And hey, Karth got a level out of that. Him treat injury because he's a soldier and doesn't have skills. Let's give him the next level of tough. Oh, is that what that does? I didn't realize that's what that did. It's like, that heavy armor master feat in D&D. It'll subtract 2 points every time you take damage. And then the third level just gives you another HP for every thing. Let's give him that. Right. It's either that or it's halved with resistance. Oh, gotta add it first. Alright, that should help with some.
What?
I'm just gonna use the med pack because
Look at this. This is one of those old-style manual locks. No computer codes or nothing. The sewers is the only place you can
manual
store
lock.
these
So
on
in
Terrace. Can't use conventional
other
security
words, a
devices
real
on the
lock, considering
I've come across them.
watch the droid go through the other room. Because we put the droid in patrol mode, so it's gonna go off and fight any enemies it sees.
I'm glad to see you too, Big C.
Even though
Didn't think I'd
we're
forget
talking
about
to him, you
Mission
heard the
Involved
Gamorrean
together
make noises in the background like they're fighting. That's another trick. If you can get into dialogue
These are my new friends,
while
Big C.
combat's going
Without
on,
them, I could never have gotten out.
people very rarely drop. Yeah. That's one of the unique things about our character is that we understand like every alien language that we can. So we understand Wookiees. It is interesting to have Wookiees with subtitles compared to
Better be sure about
the
it.
movies where it's just noise and you have to rely on Han and other characters to know what he's saying, know what Chewbacca's saying. Yeah, we get the Wookiee life debt from this person we just met.
Wow, this is major. Do you realize what it means?
And sometimes you can just be rude.
A life debt is the most
The-
solemn vow a Wookiee can make.
The quote unquote dark side options are so
Wherever you go,
comically
whatever you
evil
do,
sometimes.
Zalbar will be with you.
You're either. That's one thing I do see that has been improved on in games like these. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they do the same thing for the droids in this game that don't talk. They onomatopoeia out the noises, but your character knows what they're saying. Yeah.
I guess this means you're stuck with me too. Wherever Big C goes, I'm going. I almost lost him once. It's not gonna happen again. So, I guess I still owe you one secret path into the Vulcan base. That was the deal, wasn't it? Don't worry. I know a back door.
Oh yeah. So Bastila isn't actually at the base. We're on a mission from the Hidden Becks to find the secret swoop racing, which is not prod racing, not exclamation point pod racing, and it's like this hidden booster that apparently we'll never be able to win if we don't use it.
I better come with you. The Volkers put up a force shield to keep the sewer dwellers out. I'm one of the only non-Volkers on Terrace who can get you past it. I can't remember exactly how to get there, but I know it was somewhere here in the sewers. Over to the northeast, if I remember right.
Northeast.
I just
Remember
hope the
that.
rancor monster isn't still there. There used to be a rancor monster that made its nest in that part of the sewers. Pretty much eats anything it can get its claws on. That thing is huge. Luckily, rancors aren't too bright. I was able to sneak past it before, so I'm sure we'll figure something out. That is, unless you want to change your mind. Okay then, off we go. Like I said, somewhere to the southeast. Just look for the
I
force shield,
don't know
and we'll know we're there.
if that was intentional or not. She said northeast and then southeast. So either she doesn't know the actual directions, or it was a mistake in making the game. So now we get a choice. We can only have 2 party members with us at the same time. So now we get to choose between Karth and Zalbar. I'm gonna bring Zalbar just for change of pace. It's kind of what they intend for you to do. So he's a scout. And I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what the scout class is supposed to be, other than, like, they say it's, I don't even know. The descriptions for them are always very vague. Wheel up, treat injury, and some repair, because yeah. Alright, and then we'll give him 2 weapon fighting. And because he's a Wookiee, he doesn't have an armor slot, which is why they give him the 20 Constitution or whatever. I wonder if he has, yeah, uncanny dodge. Retains even Wookiee toughness, yeah. Yeah, he basically has all 3 levels of the toughness feat on his own, which I think would stack with the actual tough feat. So, him. Repeat saves. I think that's the. Still not a lot of items, but now we have someone to sit in melee for us.
What?
That's where he was. And so that door's broken, so we can't go through there. And we can see these Gamorreans that the droid fought for us.
What?
Yes. Turn solo mode off.
What?
Okay.
Yeah? Gotcha. Simple.
If you can force chests open by bashing your weapon against it, but it has a chance of breaking items inside. Or it's supposed to. I don't know if that might be something that was implemented in the second game, because going back, I don't think I've ever encountered a broken item in this one, but opening a door with security also gives you a little bit of XP.
What?
A minuscule amount, but for every door that's in there, it adds up. Alright. And I'm going to equip his bowcaster because it's slightly better than a regular blaster pistol or blaster rifle.
Huh? Gotcha.
Sure.
Simple. What?
What?
Yeah, there's it's basically just one-handed melee weapons, two-handed melee weapons, one-handed blasters, and two-handed blasters. Basically it. They also have these dagger-like kind of things. They're mostly like stun weapons, but they're not very good. If you can see, the damage die is a lot lower, but a lot of times they'll have different effects. But it's not very good because unless you're focusing on specifically here, this dueling feat, which focuses on only wielding one weapon, it's generally better to have a weapon in each hand, or a double-bladed or a two-hand weapon, because even if it has a slightly lower two-hit, it again it gives you an extra attack, and having that extra attack is really good. So unless you're going up against someone with like super high armor and like running against the wall of not being able to beat them, it's generally better to have something in each hand. The weapons are a lot of the good weapons can be
Yes.
upgraded a little bit, but the lightsabers are really where that comes into play. Because, like, I'll show you in my items here. There's, like, armor reinforcement and beam splitter. This beam splitter goes into the beam splitter spot on any upgradable ranged weapon. In the sequel, they expanded on this in a huge way, where you can use your skills to craft upgrade items for your different weapons. I'm gonna go heal while I'm talking about this. And then those can give a whole bunch of different effects, but the only items that are that versatile in upgrades in this game are the lightsabers, which you can upgrade with different crystals, and then the different crystals can give different effects, which kind of makes sense that they would focus on the lightsaber. But I'm glad in the sequel they improved upon it. I'm gonna stream for maybe another half hour, and then we run the risk of people starting to come home, so. Back up. Let Zalbar get in the way of things. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this earlier. Zalbar has a 20 in both of the main stats. He is really strong. They don't have the stat limit that's in 5e, where you go up to 20 and then that's basically it. But so you can get to stats of like 30 or 40 by the end of the game.
Yes?
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So, like in D&D again, I keep bringing this back to D&D, but I know you've played or you've been in the server, so it's easy to make a lot of comparisons to it. Uh, but a lot of the enemies don't fight terribly smart. They will focus on one enemy, and then unless presented with no other option, they generally don't ever switch targets. What's that? Oh, I missed a remains. It is, and I didn't realize that until I started playing D&D. It completely changed how I thought about the game. Where did I put my stats? Okay, I put it in these. And sometimes even the character pathfinding isn't the best. I was pressing the button hoping he would stop and shoot, but for whatever reason the AI wanted him to run forward. There's the force field she was talking about. So we'll loop back around to there a bit. Like Skyrim, you want to kind of explore every inch you can. Oh, I passed it. Alright, let's... Yeah, he just tearing through everything. I'm curious. That's 1 to 10, but it does add that is adding his strength. But with you, it's not adding dex to damage. I guess that's typical for 3.5 based stuff. Where they don't add dex to damage. And we'll go back. I promise once we get off this planet, the between combats won't be nearly as tedious. Oh, it looks like they respawned. I didn't realize they did that. Interesting. Oh, I was poisoned, so...
What?
There we go. Man. The Woogie's just really good.
Yes?
Alright. Yeah. Let's not do that again here if we can avoid it. Right in the middle of where they might respawn. So turn the ladder out, heal up, transit back again. They are back again. Wow. At least we aren't in the middle of them. Right. They are pretty big doors. I don't know. Well, I guess... I don't know. We are in the sewers, but that's not an excuse for how big a lot of the other doors have been. I guess it's a world, or it's a universe where a lot of war happens. So perhaps the doors are built in mind for a bunch of people to, like, say, fight in the doorway. So that's a ladder. The ladder goes up to a different part of the Undercity, I think. So now we can go back to that force field, and mission will get us through it. Oh, that's what I wanted that for. I just remembered what I was saving my parts for, but it's not a big deal. Other end was that place we came through. So theoretically, if you look at the map, we started here and then we looped around. We could have theoretically come here first, but mission wouldn't have let us through without Zalbar.
You won't be able to get that computer to lower the energy fields unless you know the proper codes. Lucky for you, I've got them. I picked them off the pocket of a black Volker who had a little too much to drink in the cantina one night. Here, let me get that energy field down for you.
It's interesting what D&D-esque games do differently. For instance, this game, you can like affect the environment by repairing droids and messing with computers and stuff. But in something like Skyrim or Divinity Original Sin, you can actually pickpocket people, individuals, where you can't really do that in here. It's just interesting what they focus on. We'll head through here into another loading screen. So if you look in here, they've all spawned in and they're just looking at each other, but they're supposed to be in the middle of a fight. As we unpause. Well, they're supposed to aggro on each other. We kind of interrupt that. You can see in the background they're fighting each other, the Ragghouls and the Gamorreans. honestly, I usually just like following the wall and exploring everywhere I can. Honestly, this is what I'm doing right now is what it feels like to play the first couple levels in D&D in 5e, where you're squishy as heck, but you can still output enough damage. And the game isn't specifically designed that way. Oh, this is the room where the DM got tired of the current enemies they were fighting, so they decided to throw in a bunch of droids just to change things up. Or at least it's supposed to be a bunch of droids. I don't know where the other ones went.
What?
Or the players were saying like, man, we fought 1,000,000 Ragghouls and 1,000,000 Gamorreans. The combat's not starting to get real samey. That's been the interesting thing about our Pokemon game, is that I think the only Pokemon we fought... Right. I think the only Pokemon we fought twice was me fighting the Alolan Marowak twice. Because there was one in the boss fight in Lavender Town, and the random encounter just outside it. Oh yeah, that honestly, you came up with
What?
uh, I've even that little bit over the radio that we overheard, I could tell the barest amount of different personalities, and even that's very impressive.
Hey, Big Z, we gotta do something about your breath. I didn't want to say anything, but it's
So sometimes the
bad.
party members will
Worse
just
than
talk to
usual,
each
which is
other
hard
about
to
random
believe. In
things.
fact, now that I think about it, your breath has been pretty rancid ever since we rescued you from those Gamorrean slavers. What'd they feed you, buddy?
Which is very short-sighted if they were intending on keeping him as a slave, to be honest.
Oh, Zalbar, that's terrible. I know how grouchy you get if you don't get your 8 square meals a day. I'm amazed you didn't pass out from hunger.
8 square meals a day.
Ew! No wonder your breath is so bad, Big Z. Gamorreans smell like bantha poodoo. We'll have to pick you up a toothbrush to clean that stench out of your choppers. Okay, relax. No toothbrush. Sheesh. Just try and eat something else to cover
I
up
guess
that
his
smell,
character is
okay?
closest
Stay
to a
away from anything
barbarian
that's smart
type.
enough to lock you in a cage this time.
He doesn't exactly have a rage mechanic, but he hits like a truck and he's defensive without armor. Let me see how much... Yeah, since we're running close to ending, I'll just finish up. So, through this door is the Rancor she was talking about, and it's one of the few encounters that a DM said, hey, you're not supposed to fight this one. You're supposed to figure out a way around it. Unfortunately, it's not very clear on what you're supposed to do. They give you a bunch of synthesized odor and a data pack. It says, we have synthesized a substance with an odor that resembles a favorite prey of rancors. If we place the bait properly, we can lure the rancor into eating something lethal enough to kill it. So, fair enough. And then you open the door. You see the rancor in a corpse pile, but it doesn't really tell you what to do.
Huh?
So,
No one's gonna see this mission.
speaking of 5 feet, you got the rancor over there. And it does have a health bar and everything, so you could theoretically fight it. But what you're supposed to do is go over here. If you see right here, there's a switch to give item. So you can put stuff in containers. So you can put a frag grenade and the odor, and it'll eat the thing, eat the grenade, blow up, and it's an interesting solution. It's just really unfeasible to it's very obscure to figure out.
Sure.
Yeah. What the first time I played through, I lured it over to this door and chucked grenades at it until it died, which went through all my grenades. So progress is through that door, but I just wanted to show you that before, in case we ran out of time. And now we'll go explore the rest of the area. Running speed isn't always the fastest, especially when you want to go back and forth between places. Oh, and it's just a mine. Right.
Yeah?
Luckily, it has options between succeeding and failing. And blowing up in your face. Sometimes if you try to disable a bomb your skill isn't high enough for, it'll just blow up. But I like that there's a little area between the two where you can just fail but not get the chance to try again. Or fail but you do get the chance to try again is what I mean. Smarter than some DMs. So we got a couple of ones, and they've got shields. Luckily, we've got Zalbar. The shields only protect against energy damage, so his swords will cut right through them. Also, I like the Tube Corpse. Like one of the guards accidentally got too close to the Rancor, it's a good bit of environmental storytelling without going out and directly saying it. There's a lot of data pads and stuff that'll tell you little things about the game and what's going on, even though you weren't exactly there to witness it. The first level of the second game is really good with that. But I think I'm going to call it here. Try to teach myself how to edit my other video I was working on. Thanks for hanging out, Shadow. I'm probably gonna try and do this again tomorrow, if you wanna come again. But in the meantime, yeah. Since I'm not working, I gotta try and do this as much as I can. Not gonna get an audience unless, yeah. Sure thing. I appreciate it. I'll probably, now that I've got it working, I'm going to try to start a little earlier next time. Alright, thanks for hanging out.